The sun burned hot over the dry Texas desert. Dust moved in the wind. Nothing was alive out here, except the sound of the wind and the slow steps of a cowboy's boots. Jack Colton was alone, riding his horse back to his ranch. He had lived out here for years, away from people, away from problems. But that day, something was different. In the sky above him, he saw a strange light. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't a shooting star. It moved fast, then suddenly stopped. Then it dropped, falling like a rock into the hills. Jack blinked. What the hell was that? He pulled his horse toward the crash. His boots hit the ground. He walked over the ridge, his hand on his old shotgun. What he saw next made him stop cold. There, half buried in the sand, was a shiny silver ship. It was round and smooth, with lights that blinked blue. Smoke came from the sides. The air smelled like burnt metal. Then the door opened. From inside, a tall woman stepped out. Her skin was pale silver. Her eyes were large, glowing light blue. She wore a long, torn suit. In her arms, she carried a baby. Jack raised his shotgun, confused and scared. The woman didn't speak. She looked at him. Scared too, the baby in her arms cried softly. Not loud, not human. Jack lowered the gun slowly. Who are you?" he asked. The woman tried to speak, but fell to her knees. She was hurt. Her hands shook. "Please," she said, her voice soft. "Help." Jack stood still for a moment. He knew this didn't make sense. A spaceship? An alien woman? A glowing baby? But something inside him, maybe his heart, told him to act. He walked over, picked her up gently, and looked down at the baby. The baby looked back at him. Its eyes were glowing gold. They didn't go back to town. Jack knew what would happen if people saw them. He took her to his ranch, to the barn behind his house. It was old, dusty, and quiet. No one would look. There, he laid the woman down on a pile of blankets. She winced in pain. Jack looked at her wounds. There were strange marks on her skin, like burns, but not from fire. Some kind of energy. "I'm no doctor," Jack said, "but I'll try." The woman looked at him. "Thank you." The baby was quiet now, watching everything. As Jack reached for a first aid kit, he noticed something strange. The tools in his metal box started floating, just a little. A wrench moved by itself. A screwdriver rolled across the table. He turned to the baby. Its eyes were glowing again. Jack froze. What the hell? The baby blinked, and everything dropped. Jack took a deep breath. This wasn't normal. This wasn't Earth normal. He patched up the woman's wounds. She winced but stayed silent. "You got a name?" Jack asked. The woman nodded slowly. "Aria." "And the baby?" She paused, then said, "He's important. You must protect him." Jack frowned. "From what?" But Aria didn't answer. She had passed out. That night, Jack sat by the barn window, holding his shotgun, watching the stars. He couldn't sleep. He kept thinking of that ship, that baby, those eyes, and the way the tools had floated. He looked over at the baby, now asleep in a blanket. Its chest moved up and down slowly, peaceful. Then a sound, a buzzing, deep and low. Jack stepped outside and looked up. A dark shape hovered in the night sky, silent, black, no lights, no engine sound. It was watching. Jack backed into the barn. He whispered to himself, "What did I get into?" Inside, the baby suddenly opened his eyes again. This time, they were glowing brighter than before, and somewhere far above the earth, something else was watching too. The night was still. Too still. Jack stood outside the barn with his shotgun pointed at the sky. The dark ship above made no sound, but he could feel something, like pressure in the air. His ears rang. His hands trembled, and just as quickly as it appeared, the ship vanished into the stars. Gone. Jack waited. 5 minutes, 10, nothing moved. He looked back at the barn. He had questions, so many questions. He walked inside. Arya was awake now, sitting up against a wooden beam. Her silver skin looked pale under the lantern light. The baby was still in her arms, sleeping, calm, as if nothing had happened. "You want to tell me what that thing was?" Jack asked. She didn't look at him. "They found us. Who found you?" She finally looked up. Her voice was low and clear. "The Watchers." Jack's brows pulled together. "What the hell are Watchers?" Arya closed her eyes. "They are machines built to protect, but now they hunt. They search across stars. And they want him." She looked down at the baby. Jack pointed at the child. "Why?" "He's just a baby." "No," she said. "He's the baby." Jack was losing patience. "Lady, you better start talking straight. You land a spaceship on my land, float tools with your baby's eyes, and now some robot ships flying over my head? What is going on?" Arya looked at him for a long time. Then she whispered, "He's the last of the Starbird." Jack stepped back. "The what now?" Arya slowly stood, weak but strong enough to move. "The Starbird are born once every 10,000 years. They are not made by normal means. They are sent, chosen by the universe. Chosen for what? To balance it or break it." That made Jack go quiet. Outside, a soft hum returned in the air. This time, closer. Arya stepped forward. "We have no more time." Jack peeked out the barn door. Lights blinked far in the desert, like silent eyes blinking in the dark. "There are more of them?" Jack asked. Arya nodded. "Yes, drones. They never stop. They do not sleep. They do not miss." Jack looked at the baby. The child was now floating 2 inches off the ground, glowing faint gold in his sleep. Jack blinked. "He's floating." Arya didn't even turn to look. "He does that when he's dreaming." Jack rubbed his forehead. "This is too much. I'm just a cowboy. I herd cattle, fix fences, drink bad coffee. This ain't my fight." Arya walked to him. "But it is now." There was a sudden sound outside. A thud in the dirt, then another, then 3 more. Jack grabbed his gun and peeked again. Small figures moved in the dark. Tall, thin machines with glowing red eyes, silent, sharp. They moved like shadows. "They're here," Arya whispered. Jack turned. "We can't fight those things." "We're not going to," Arya said. She reached into a small pouch on her suit and pulled out a round silver disc. It lit up in her hand. "What's that?" "A jump gate." Jack backed up. "A what?" "A doorway. To somewhere safe. But it won't stay open long." She tossed it on the barn floor. The disc glowed and opened like a tiny black hole. A soft swirl of blue light spun inside it. "Where does it go?" Jack asked. She didn't answer. Outside, the machines had reached the barn. Red lights scanned the wood. Jack looked at the baby, still floating, still asleep. "I can't protect him," he said. Arya said, "You can." She looked into Jack's eyes. "Because he is yours." Jack froze. "What did you say?" Before she could answer, the barn wall exploded. A machine stepped in, tall metal legs and sharp arms ready to kill. Arya picked up the baby and handed him to Jack. "Run!" Jack took him, stunned. The baby opened his eyes, golden, glowing, and a blast of light hit the machine, sending it flying back into the night. Jack looked down at the child. "What are you?" "The baby just blinked." Arya shouted. "Go!" Jack ran into the portal. The light swallowed him whole. Behind him, Arya turned to face the machines, and the barn went silent. Jack didn't fall. He didn't fly. He moved like light through water. 1 second, he was in the burning barn. The next, he stood in the middle of a silent forest, the sky dark purple above him, stars swirling like paint across glass. No noise, no wind, no Arya. Just him. And the baby in his arms. The child stared up at the sky, wide-eyed but calm, like this was normal. Jack, however, was not calm. Okay, he whispered, heart racing. That's enough crazy for one lifetime. Behind him, the silver disc spun in the air for a few seconds, then blinked out. Gone. No way back. Jack looked around. The trees were tall and black, the leaves glowing faint blue. Strange sounds came from far away. The air felt clean, but heavy, like breathing through a dream. This isn't Earth. Jack muttered. Then he saw something in the distance. Lights. Moving. He ducked behind a rock and held the baby tight. Shh. The baby made a soft humming noise. Suddenly, the rock in front of them melted, not like fire. Like time sped up and turned it into dust. What the? Jack whispered, backing away. The baby looked at him, smiling. Kid, you really gotta stop doing that. Jack didn't know where to go, but one thing was clear. They couldn't stay here. He started walking toward the light in the distance, hoping for safety, or at least answers. As they moved through the glowing forest, Jack noticed strange creatures watching from the shadows. Tall deer-like shapes with crystal antlers. Small flying things with soft, blinking wings. But none attacked. It was like they knew the baby, or feared him. After an hour of walking, Jack reached a hilltop. Below, he saw something unexpected. A town. Not a human one, but close. Buildings made of smooth stone and glass curved into the hills. Soft blue lights lit the streets. Tall beings in cloaks walked slowly below, peaceful. Quiet. Jack stepped back. What kind of place is this? He whispered. Then, from behind, a voice. Somewhere you were never meant to find. Jack spun around. A man stood there, human, wearing a black jacket with silver lines glowing along the seams. His hair was white, his eyes sharp, cold. Jack raised his shotgun. Who are you? The man smiled. You can call me Tracer. I follow lost things, and you, cowboy, you're very, very lost. Jack aimed. You with the Watchers? Tracer didn't answer. He raised a small device. The trees around them suddenly turned to glass, then shattered. From the smoke, 2 silver drones flew out, their red eyes blinking. Tracer pointed at the baby. Hand him over, now. The baby, still in Jack's arms, began to glow again. Tracer flinched. I wouldn't, Jack said. Tracer grinned. You don't even know what you're carrying. That child is a weapon. A bomb with a heartbeat. Jack didn't move. He's a baby. Tracer's smile vanished. He's your baby. Jack froze. What did you say? I said. Tracer leaned forward. You created him. Not with hands, not with love, but with legacy. His blood is yours. His future is written by your past. The drones buzzed louder. Jack looked at the baby. The child's eyes were glowing again. But now Jack didn't feel fear. He felt something else. Connection. Like they were part of the same storm. The drones rushed forward. The baby raised one tiny hand, and the world bent. A pulse of energy exploded in a perfect circle. The drones flew back, crashing into the trees. Tracer vanished in a blink of white light. Silence again. Jack fell to one knee, breathing hard. He looked down. The baby was asleep. Like nothing had happened. Jack stared at him. What are you? The baby didn't answer. But Jack didn't need one anymore, whatever this child was. He wasn't running anymore. He was protecting now. The wind was cold now, not desert wind. Not forest wind. This was something older, wiser. It whispered through the glass trees like it knew secrets Jack wasn't ready for. He sat by a small fire, made from strange blue branches that didn't burn with flames. They pulsed like slow heartbeats. The baby slept beside him, wrapped in soft cloth Jack found in an abandoned shelter nearby. The night sky above shimmered like the stars themselves were watching. And Jack, he was no longer asking what the baby was. He was starting to wonder why him, 12 hours earlier. They had found the old facility just before sunset. A round stone structure, half buried in the ground. Alien writing carved on the walls, glowing faint green. Vines wrapped around broken doorways. Everything silent. Jack stepped inside, holding the baby close. Arya had told him something before she was taken. Find the vault of memory. The answers are there. This looked like the place. Inside, the halls were curved, the floors smooth, like mirrors. Strange machines lined the walls, dark, sleeping. A huge metal door stood at the end, shaped like an eye. The baby reached out. The door opened. Jack blinked. Okay, so you're the key now? They walked into a round room, empty except for a single pedestal. On top, a small black cube. Jack stepped closer. Is this it? The cube lit up. A voice echoed from nowhere. Identity matched. Starburn linked. Father recognized. Jack stepped back. Excuse me, what now? The room darkened. Then the walls lit up with moving images, not screens, but memories floating in the air like smoke. He saw a galaxy spinning, a planet exploding, a child in a tube, surrounded by blue light. Project Starburn, the voice said, was a failed prophecy. Until he was born, Jack stared. You're talking about him. The voice continued. 2 bloodlines crossed. 1 human. 1 celestial. The result? The only being who can reset the code of existence. Reset what code? Jack asked. In front of him, a diagram appeared. Shapes. Stars. DNA strands moving in circles. All life is code. Every star, every planet. The Starburn child can rewrite it. But the baby stirred in Jack's arms, only with the help of his origin. Jack's voice cracked. That's me, isn't it? Yes, you are the origin. Jack sat down slow. I'm no chosen one. I'm a cowboy with a broken past and a dead ranch. Your bloodline was marked centuries ago. You were hidden on Earth, raised in silence. But the code never forgot. The images changed again, showing a war. Planets on fire, machines, the Watchers, rising in the shadows. They seek the child not to kill, but to use. If they connect him to their system, they will rewrite all creation in their image. Jack stood over my dead body. The cube dimmed. The images faded. Only one symbol remained glowing on the wall, a mark like a burning circle. Jack stared at it. The same mark had been on the baby's shoulder since day 1. The code. A message appeared beneath it, written in glowing text. The father must awaken his memory, or the universe will forget itself. Jack didn't understand it all. Not yet, but he knew one thing. He wasn't just protecting the child anymore. He was part of something ancient. Something cosmic. Back to the present. The wind still whispered. Jack sat by the fire, looking at the baby. I don't know why it's me, he said softly. I don't know how this all started, but I swear to you, kid, I won't let them take you. The baby's eyes slowly opened, soft gold light shining in the dark. And far away, across the stars, the Watchers had found them again, but this time, they weren't sending drones. They were sending someone Jack knew, someone Jack had trusted before, someone who knew how to hurt him. Jack hadn't slept in 3 days. His hands were blistered. His clothes were torn. He had walked through storms of ash, lightning fields, and forests that whispered names he didn't recognize. But nothing hurt more than the silence. The baby hadn't smiled since the last attack. He barely moved. Jack carried him close now, not just to protect him, but because he needed to believe something in this broken universe still mattered. They found shelter in a ruined tower, high above a cliff of glass rocks. The wind screamed outside, but the room inside was still, empty walls, shattered windows, and carvings of forgotten symbols along the floor. Jack laid the baby down and stared at the stars. I wish you could talk, he whispered. I wish someone would just tell me what to do. Then, a voice from the shadows. Still talking to yourself, Jack? Jack spun around, shotgun raised. A man stepped out from the darkness, tall, rugged, wearing a black coat and a half smile. Jack's heart skipped. Cal Monroe, Jack's oldest friend. His partner from the early years, before the ranch, before the isolation. The man who vanished one night without a word. Jack lowered the gun. You're alive. Of course I am. You didn't think I'd miss all the fun, did you? Jack rushed forward, grabbed him in a tight hug. I thought you were dead. I was, Cal said, in a way. He looked down at the baby. So this is him? Jack nodded. Yeah, lot of trouble in a tiny package. Cal bent down, looked the baby in the eye. He's just a kid, he said. Jack frowned. You knew about him. Cal didn't answer. That's when the feeling hit, that small, cold twist in Jack's gut. He stepped back slowly. How'd you find me, Cal? I tracked your signal. I didn't send one. Cal smiled. You didn't have to. Suddenly, Jack saw it. A faint glow under Cal's sleeve, silver, pulsing. Watcher tech. His heart dropped. No. Cal stood up. They made me a deal, Jack. A second chance. You know what it's like to lose everything. Jack's voice cracked. You were my brother. I am your brother, Cal said. And I'm trying to save you. Give them the kid. You can go home. No more running. No more pain. Jack stepped in front of the baby. You don't get to say his name. You don't get to stand here and act like this is mercy. He's not a child, Cal growled. He's a system. A ticking code bomb built to reset time. You think you can raise that? You think you can control it? Jack clenched his fists. I don't need to control him. I just need to protect him. Cal pulled a weapon from his belt. It didn't look human. It glowed like ice and pulsed like a heartbeat. You're choosing the wrong side, Jack. No, Jack whispered. I'm choosing him. The baby opened his eyes. Golden light flooded the room. Jack didn't flinch. Cal hesitated. Then the baby reached out a tiny hand toward Cal. And for 1 second, Cal saw something. Not power, not a weapon. A child. He lowered the gun, but behind him the wall exploded. Drones swarmed in. Cal's voice roared. They followed me. Run. Jack grabbed the baby and leapt through a side door just as a beam of red light hit the wall behind him. Cal turned back and raised his weapon at the machines. Not today, he said. Not him. Outside, Jack ran through the storm. Behind him, lights flashed. Screams echoed. Then silence. Jack didn't look back. He just whispered to the child in his arms. I'm sorry. But the baby wasn't crying. He was glowing. And the wind around them began to sing in a voice that sounded almost human. Asterisk. The stars weren't where they used to be. Jack knew that the moment he opened his eyes. The sky above him looked familiar. But wrong. It was Earth, or something wearing Earth's face. The moon was cracked in half. The clouds were purple. The air buzzed with low static, like a broken radio always whispering just out of reach. Jack stood at the edge of a ruined city, towering. Buildings leaned sideways like bones. Lights flickered in the sky, not stars, but ships. Massive ships, watching, waiting. In his arms, the baby had stopped glowing. He was quiet now. Too quiet. 2 hours earlier, the portal had pulled them in. With fire and thunder. Jack had held the baby tight as the universe bent around them. They landed hard. Metal ground. Red sky. A place that felt ancient and advanced at the same time. This wasn't just another planet. This was Earth. Hundreds of years in the future. The Watchers had won here. And now, they were waiting for the baby to arrive. Jack walked the broken streets alone. No humans, no birds, no life, just screens on the walls, glowing with the same symbol burned into the baby's shoulder, a perfect golden circle. Underneath, a message blinked. The starburn has returned. Initiate the final code. Jack felt it deep in his gut. This was it, the endgame. Suddenly, a voice echoed from a speaker above. Jack Colton, you are not enemy. You are carrier. Step forward. He looked around. Carrier of what? Then, a shockwave rolled through. The City Data Watcher ship descended from the clouds, silent but heavy. It looked like a black knife slicing through the sky. Beneath it, a long metallic figure floated down. It wasn't a drone. It was her. But she wasn't Aria anymore. Her body was metal now. Her eyes lifeless white. The Watchers had taken her. Jax. FIC is tightened. What did they do to you? She spoke, but the voice wasn't hers anymore. Emotion is a weakness. Connection is a virus. The Starburn will now be uploaded. No, Jack said. You'll have to go through me. The baby opened his eyes slowly, and for the first time he spoke. One word. One clear, soft word. Father. Jack's breath caught. Tears filled his eyes. I'm here, he said. I've always been here. The air cracked. Time itself seemed to ripple. The baby rose out of Jack's arms, floating, glowing gold like a sun in human form. His eyes were fire and memory. His voice was small but ancient. You cannot rewrite life without living it. Machines all over the city began to shake. Screens shattered. Drones dropped from the sky. The baby raised a hand. The symbol on his shoulder spun, faster and faster, then exploded with light. Across the galaxy. Planets shook, codes collapsed. Firewalls built over centuries blinked out. In one moment, everything the Watchers had written was being unwritten. Rewritten. By a child. By a Colton. Back in the city. Aria collapsed to her knees. Her eyes flickered. Blue returning, she whispered. Jack. Jack ran to her. She looked at the baby, floating above them. He chose, she said. He chose love. Jack held her close. We're going to fix this. But the ground split beneath them. And a final message echoed across the sky. The code is broken. The Watchers have lost control. Initiating Plan B. Termination of the Starburn. From deep space. A new threat was coming. Not machines, not human. Something older than both. Something awakened by the child's choice. And Jack knew. The final battle wasn't about saving the galaxy anymore. It was about saving his son. The sky cracked open like paper on fire. From deep beyond the stars, something massive had arrived. Not ships. Not drones. Something without a name. It moved like smoke. It spoke without sound. It wasn't machine, or alien, or God. It was what came before the code. And it had only one message. The Starburn has rewritten life. Balance must be erased. The source must sleep again. Jack stood on the edge of the broken earth, holding the baby, now glowing brighter than the sun. The cities had gone quiet. The machines had stopped. The Watchers were gone. But something worse had come in their place. Aria stood beside Jack, weak but alive, her voice trembling. This is the origin, the one who made the first laws. Before stars, before memory. Jack didn't blink. Can it be stopped? She shook her head. No, it doesn't fight. It unwrites, it erases. Without hate, like wind clearing dust. Jack looked at the child, not afraid. The boy was silent now, his eyes still glowing, his body hovering inches above the ground. Why are you so calm? Jack whispered. Then, for the second and last time, the boy spoke. Because I remember who I am. And then he looked at Jack, and who you are. Suddenly, time paused. Not slowed. Paused. The wind froze. The light stopped flickering. The stars stopped moving. Jack found himself standing in a white space. Endless, silent. Across from him stood a mirror version of himself. Same clothes, same face, but eyes filled with light. Jack whispered, "What is this?" The other version spoke. "This is your choice." What choice? To reset the child. To send him back into time. Hide him. Let the world forget him. Let the balance stay broken. Or what? Or rewrite everything. But if you do, you won't be remembered. Not by Earth, not by history, not even by him. Jack looked down. You will save him. But you will be gone. He stayed quiet for a long time, then smiled. Yeah, Jack said. Sounds about right. Reality returned. The source, the cosmic force of erasure, moved forward. The child floated up, holding out a hand, and spoke not with words, but with memory. The source stopped. It listened. And then it began to fade. Not erased. Healed. Because for the first time in forever, the code had been rewritten not with logic, but with love. 1 year later, a quiet farm stood on a green hill. No machines, no watchers. A teenage boy, golden-eyed and strong, walked through the tall grass, barefoot, holding an old cowboy hat in his hand. He looked up at the stars every night, searching. Every night. And then one night, he spoke to the sky. I don't remember your name. I don't remember your voice. He placed the hat on his head. But I remember how safe I felt when you held me. A smile broke across his face, soft, sad, and strong. Wherever you are, I hope you know, you didn't disappear. You became the world I live in. He looked up one more time. The stars shimmered. And just for a moment, one of them tipped its hat back,